Hey, yo, brothers. The topic of this video today is STDs. Let's talk about it. I mean, it's a reality of the society that we live in. When you live in a hypersexualized society and a hypersexualized culture, what's going to happen is there's going to be a high STD rate because men and women are all recycling each other's wee-wees and vaginas. Everybody's getting turned at everybody. And what's going to happen is you're exchanging all this different sexual energy, information, DNA, passing on these different diseases and infections to one another. These are the realities of it. Sex is not supposed to be what it is in this society. It's supposed to be done in a more orderly way. The woman is not supposed to be being penetrated by dozens of different men and then still be considered a wife. That's silliness, that's nonsense, but that's the culture that we live in. That's America. And because of that, that's one of the reasons why America is falling. But in general, genital herpes. Let's read this. Genital herpes is usually spread by having vaginal, oral, or anal sex. 1 in 5 women ages 14 to 49 has genital herpes. There is no cure for herpes. That's not necessarily true 100%. I'm sure medicine can be found within nature that we can use to cure just about anything. I think everything is in nature, but they prefer us to buy things from the pharmaceutical industry. Why would you want people to know how to cure herpes? That's a huge revenue stream. There's cold sore medication that people buy. There's herpes, genital herpes cream that people buy because they want to cure that rash down there. There's a lot of people making money off of genital herpes. Genital herpes is not going anywhere. If anything, they want more people to have genital herpes because the people that sell the genital herpes medication are going to make more money. Everything is a business, brothers. There are plenty of cures to all the ailments that we have in this society. The thing is, once again, you can't capitalize off of that to the same extent that you can capitalize off of the pharmaceutical industry. There's way more money in people being sick and on their deathbed and things of that nature than people being alive or dead. There's no money in people living other than taxes, and there's no money in people dying other than funerals for the most part. So these are the realities of it. But anyways, there is no cure for herpes, supposedly. But you can take medicine to prevent outbreaks. Yes, you could take medicine to prevent outbreaks and to lower your risk of passing genital herpes to your partner. I seen a commercial some time ago and it said HIV was basically cured. I mean, the medicine is so powerful and strong that it's able to make HIV undetectable in a test. It's undetectable. So what that tells me is like it's people out here that can live life with HIV. And I don't know what the side effects of those drugs are, to those medications are, but there's people out here that can have HIV and continue to engage in sexual intercourse and not learn their lesson and not receive their judgment for whatever they did or whatever the Most High had planned for them. I don't know. And you just got to be thankful for the fact of the matter is that we don't have to go through that, brothers. There's people that have to go through way worse stuff than us on a day-to-day basis. And for some reason, we think we have it bad. Hey, at least you don't got HIV. I mean, I'm just calling it what it is. Like, reality of it there, because a lot of brothers out here, I'm sure we've all played Russian roulette at some point in our lives. And we going in sushi boy and, not protecting yourself. There's no telling whether or not you can receive something that you may not be able to get rid of. So you really are, you're playing that game of Russian roulette whenever you go inside of a woman raw meat. Most of y'all gonna continue to do it anyway because there's nothing like a skin-to-skin contact and feel. But in general, this is why it's important that the woman you deal with is, yours. Like, this is the importance of that so that you're not out here worrying about all that other stuff. You're supposed to have all your women in order. But in general, the women in this society, they get to just sleep with a bunch of other dudes at the same time and not even know who the baby is. That's the real abomination. That's the real unfortunate thing. A lot of women get to talking about having multiple. Why can't they have multiple sexual partners, but the man can? Something you have to understand is the reason why the man can have more sexual partners than the woman is for that reason right there. In the event that she gets pregnant, whose child is it? Whose child is it? You're a receiver by nature. Therefore, you're receiving the sexual energy of a man as well as the seed, the sperm, the seed of copulation of a man as well. Also, brothers, it is not in the nature of a woman to be the head of a situation when it comes to men. Like, I have a lot of women that will say, why can't men have multiple, why can't women have multiple men? And I have to explain, like, yo, the reason why you can't have multiple men is because there there is no woman on earth that's going to wants to take care of multiple men and she looks at them with any level of respect. It's not any fulfillment that a woman gets in life out of taking care of multiple men. She's going to start to look at those men as her sons. She's going to look at them as beneath her, and she's not going to be able to respect them appropriately. She just wouldn't. Really, when women get to talking about having more than one man, they're talking about having one dude paying their bills, one dude taking them shopping, one dude get her car fixed, one dude buy her food. And then there's that one dude, that one special guy, that fifth dude that doesn't have to buy her nothing, doesn't have to do anything for her, doesn't have to do anything for her kids, doesn't have to answer her text or her phone calls half the time. All he gotta do is drop the good, the good D on her. That's simple as that. That's it. That's all he has to do is that. And brothers, that's the man that most brothers want to be. The dude that has to get all the cooter mama in the world while applying minimal effort. Crazy. But in general, brothers, once again, we just gotta be aware, just to be aware of what we put in our meat in, our raw meat in, because you never know what you're gonna receive in return. It's dangerous out here. 1 in 5 women, 1 in 5, that means 20% of women ages 14 to 49 has genital herpes. That's something to be alarmed by. That means 1 in 5 of the women, when you go to a club, 1 in 5 women, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 women, you count 5 women, 1 of them got herpes. That's what that means, genital herpes. 1 of them is burning down there. So more than likely a man is going to get herpes or some type of STD from a woman rather than a woman receiving it from a man. If a woman is receiving it from a man, it's because she's messing with a 1 out of 10% man, like 1 out of 10 man, like a 10% type of dude, because only 10% of dudes even have this stuff, because most dudes are not banging women left and right like that. It's a very small percentage. And this also shows that the woman is a more sexually active creature than the man. The woman's cooter mom will be way hot, way hotter than the man's genital area. The woman be you running up the mileage. 1 in 5. That means women today are extremely sexually active. And if a woman likes to be sexually active, fine, but she has to understand the repercussions that come with her being sexually active. When you are sexually active as a woman, you run the risk of getting pregnant. You run the risk of being stuck with a child. And now you're dependent on a man to support you and take care of you. These are possibilities. You have a potential to get pregnant. That's the reality of it. So you have to be more careful with who you allow inside your body, because you can only have so many babies, and it's a 9-month period and process for you, where your body is going to go through all types of changes. You're going to throw up probably. You're going to be nauseous. You have a watermelon growing in your stomach. You're going to have back pains probably if you don't already pre-existingly work out. These are the realities of it. Some of the stuff you're going to start having all these cravings, all these raging hormones coming at you all at once. You're going to lash out at people. You're going to do irrational things. That's the person you're going to be. That's what the woman needs to understand when she lays down with a man and allows him to put raw meat inside of her. Make sure that man is somebody that, at least has his finances in order. Because if a man doesn't have his finances in order, it's going to be very difficult for him to feel like a man. His finances being in order is what allows him to feel like a man. And there's too many sisters out here sleeping around with a man that doesn't have his finances in order. That's irresponsible. That's bad coochie management. You shouldn't be messing with any man that doesn't have a pot to piss in. If a man can at the very least take care of himself and keep his own head above water, if he adds you to the boat, y'all gonna sink. That's the reality of it, baby. So y'all got to be careful with y'all cooter mamas. It's not that people are trying to oppress you by telling you only be with one man and this and that, and you need to stop running up your mileage and your body count is too high. It's not that people are trying to attack y'all. It's just the reality of it. I think most people understand, even on a subconscious level, that Women running up their body count is not good in society. That HOE spirit is not good in society. It's terrible. It is destroying society right now because, and it doesn't help because so many men are simps. And once again, what a simp is a man that prevents the woman from getting her discipline, her correction, and her reproach. One of the ways in which you forget or prevent the woman from getting her discipline, correction, and reproach is by liking all her pictures on Instagram, liking all her shaking her ass videos on TikTok. That's the reality of, you keep looking at those pictures and commenting hard eyes under those pictures. That's going to continue to enable women, OnlyFans and stuff like that. That's going to continue to enable women to be HOEs and not come back into the light and recognize that they need to be wives. And that's what's going to help us. That's what's best for the woman to be in society, a wife. The woman is not supposed to be in the workforce and things of that nature. Not saying that she can't have a valuable place in the workforce, because the woman is the ultimate secretary. Ultimate secretary, brothers. I don't know if you watch the TV show Suits, but I mean, there's the character by the name of Donna on there, and she's the ultimate secretary, literally. The woman has a great deal of powers that she could tap into when she's in the spirit of wife and mother, but the woman continues to tap into her powers of bitch and hoe. You that's the problem. And there is no fruit. There is no fruit in being a bitch and a hoe. The end thereof is death. That's what that is. Death and destruction. That's a very destructive, evil spirit that's being plagued on our women right now through the music, the entertainment industry, and worst of all, their whole ass mothers. A lot of these women, they come from a long line of hoes. Their grandma was a hoe. Their mom was a hoe. They're a hoe. And their daughter's going to be a hoe, and their daughter's going to be a hoe. A long line of hoes, dressing in a provocative manner, a long line of bitches, a long line of baby mamas. You got to be aware of that stuff when you're dealing with a woman. It's almost to the point where I wouldn't even recommend you deal with that type of woman at all. Just leave her alone altogether. Let that woman receive her discipline, her correction, and her reproach. That woman will not be able to receive her discipline and correction and her reproach if she knows that she still has options out there. I've dealt with women that are single mothers at a point in their lives and things of that nature. Y'all may want to consider, once again, not messing with a single mother unless you are ready to embark on a whole new journey. You have to understand that child is yours. You have to see that child as yours. If you don't see that child as yours, then you shouldn't be dating a single mother. And most brothers are going to have a difficult time seeing that, because there's going to be constant things within society that remind you of the fact that child is not yours. You don't have ownership over that child. You don't have possessiveness over that child. Especially if it's another man involved and he's not dead or in jail, what's going to happen is now it's another man involved. And if you're trying to establish culture in your household and breathe life into this girl or this boy, whatever, what's going to happen is you're going to run into conflict and dilemma, because she's coming from multiple different households and backgrounds. She has to go see her father at some point, right? This reality of it. So these are things you need to think about. I would recommend, brothers, just take your time and be patient, and the right woman to come along. That's to you brothers out there that don't have any children yet. Patience is very key. I know it seems like it's taking forever for things to take off, but if you're patient, you'll notice a lot of growth in your life. You have to compare yourself to who you were 5 years ago and say, where am I at today? Is there growth? Is there change? In my wisdom, my knowledge, my understanding, have I grown? Am I still making the same bad mistakes? Ask yourself that. If the answer to that is yes, then you haven't grown at all. If the answer to that is no, then you're in a step in the right direction, and you just have to put the rest of the pieces together. But anyways, brothers, I'm going to go ahead and tap out of this. I think we get the point.